Okay, so let's take a look. So today we're gonna go over the very simple stuff, the stuff that we already know very briefly, and then we're gonna go into a little bit of the deeper stuff for the unfair advantage here. Okay, so how's everybody doing today, anyhow?
Great.
Good? Yeah? For those of you who went to Sunny's, I'm sure you're like pumped.
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty pumped. At the same time, I'm super frustrated with the back end stuff.
Well, okay, so I'm going to go over unfair advantage and its intricate pieces, just so that we understand what we have. So last week we went over the high and the low factor of people, right? And how everybody goes through this, and we have the high part and then we have the low part. And when traders come in, they're normally at the high part. There's one specific thing that we didn't recognize last week that I want to recognize this week that happens in these areas. First, the high part, people are motivated. Okay? And the low part, people are D. I'm just going to put an M there for motivated. And so when somebody finds something new, they're normally extremely motivated. They're highly intensified in learning and so on and so forth. And they're moving at speeds that are normally pretty good. Now, everybody has a different attention span, a different motivation span. So some people are motivated and then they crash immediately. And some people, it takes a little while for them while they're motivated and then they crash. But everybody goes through the cycle. Everybody, multi-billionaires, all the way. You want to know how I know everybody goes through this cycle? Just ask me. How do you know, John?
How do you know, John?
Sure. This is the story. This is the story of success. Does that make sense? Everybody who actually made it to their goal at the end, this is their story. They've gone through the up part.
Story of Harry Potter.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So, all right. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to go over the unfair advantage part that we know here very briefly, and let's understand this. So this is the unfair advantage. Unfair advantage, the UA. This is you. Okay. This is your goals. Okay. Whenever we have a goal and we make a commitment, we immediately face obstacles to these goals. Every single time. I don't care what it is, whether it's family, friends, your own unbelief, self-image, whatever it is, every single time you put a goal together, you always face resistance in some way. There's something that's going to try and stop you from moving forward. Everybody with me still here? Yeah? Okay. So let me take a step over here. So I put this down today. So what makes a successful trader? What makes somebody successful in these times is literally self-control and your human will. Okay. And I talked to you guys a little bit last week about my mentor's story, how he went from, being gung-ho and then losing all interest. And then his mentors were like, no, you got to keep going. And then he finally was able to see, right? I can't see anything on the screen. Can somebody just say yes or?
I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure. So what it was there's a certain type of discipline, and I'm going to put D for discipline, that helps you get past every single one of these walls and resistances. And so when we're taking a look at the life cycle of one of these, right, we remember that you're going to go through something. you're going to look at your belief system. And when you fix that belief system, you can keep going, right? So you're going to come into a conflict, okay? You're going to most likely fail, all right? With anytime that you have a conflict always normally results in failure. And when I mean, I should say always, not normally, but always results in failure. When somebody's conflicted, unless they resolve that conflict, there's always going to be a failure. And the failure has to be you have to take a look at the belief system. So the belief system, once the belief system is fixed, the conflict is away, and then the failure is away. So we should know this. We've already gone through this. This is more of the primitive start of the unfair advantage. But the belief system, once that's fixed, we're able to move forward. Okay. Well, this is what it's going to take. If you're at the high part where you're motivated, okay, well, it's easy for you to take that step and start looking into your thoughts. And I'm going to give you some real, so it's not abstract. When you're going through trades and you're not journaling your thoughts, or when you're going through trades and you're not aware of your thoughts, then it's hard for you to be able to track down the right or wrong belief systems. So if you're having a challenge, or if you're having it's hard for you to move forward, or you're losing often, then you think to yourself, well, probably the best way for me to do this is back test. And you make yourself like a goal. Like you're like, I'm going to back test. I'm going to figure out where my belief system is going wrong. And I'm going to figure out really what's going on in my trading strategy that's not right. And then, but if you're not motivated to do this, so if you're not the high top and you're at the bottom part of this, right? What's it going to take for you to actually execute that plan of back testing and starting to record your thoughts and trying to figure out where the belief system is erroneous? What do you think it's gonna take you? Your motivation's gone. You're like, this sucks. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Well, what does that take?
Say again.
And there's no wrong answer, right? Like, yeah. So what would it take? What would it take for you? There is a specific right answer I'm looking for, but what would it take for you to get past this down period?
You sort of hit a panic area where there's an area where you will not go lower than that point and you will bounce back. That, or usually when the student is ready, the teacher will appear and the answer will be there.
Well, essentially this is it, right? Like, so I'm going to give
You have to believe in yourself.
Yeah, but which is true. Even so, Pops, if you say believing yourself is true, absolutely true. But there's something in believing yourself, and there's something in everything that you just said that has to happen. So if I feel like I really don't want to do this, self-discipline. Okay. Self-discipline. And what I'm going to say here, there's a difference between motivation and self-discipline.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're motivated, if you're motivated, great. There's nothing wrong with that. But self-discipline is what you will need to get past these obstacles that are in your way so that you can hit your goal of being a consistently profitable trader. Okay. So motivation is actually weak. It's finical. It comes and goes. It's happened to me where I was motivated and things were going great, and then I wasn't motivated, and I was waiting for that type of motivation to come back. I'm waiting for that motivation to come back. Well, that waiting period for motivation to come back may never come back for that specific thing. You may have to rekindle the fire of the motivation to be able to overcome that thing that's stopping you from reaching your goal. So there's one more step that's deeper to self-discipline. Okay. And what I like to call this is will power. which means the power to choose. And so this is the amazing thing. When you get a new trader or somebody who's just starting to trade, it's almost like you put yourself in a rut. You start to make choices that aren't good for you, like over leveraging or not putting a stop loss or whatever. And then you find out, okay, well, I shouldn't over leverage because that blows my account up, or I should always have a stop loss because that's the right thing to do. I gotta manage my risk. And then you start trading again, and then you don't do it. And it's what happens is the lack of will, the lack of ability to choose, right, is what will give you the problems, the failures, okay? And it will stop you from being able to exercise self-discipline. All right? So really what I wanted to get, what I wanted to point out here, I don't want it to get too messy. All right, so what I wanted to point out was when we have a goal, and we have you at the beginning of this goal, we've planned for this goal, okay? And everybody has a goal to be a profitable trader, yes? Okay, I'm gonna put consistently profitable. Consistent, profitable. So making sure that you're profitable on a consistent manner. Well, whenever we come into an object or something that's going to stop us, so let's just say it's the fact that we're frustrated with ourselves because, we've lost 7 times in a row and we don't understand why. Well, that is an obstacle to your goal. And then trying to find out the why is extremely important for us. So, and then not always having the answers on how to find the why is a lot of the times the trader's challenge. So I'm going to tell you like 90% of the time what the answer is. 90% of the time, the answer is a belief system. Something you believe about either the strategy, okay, something you may believe about the market, okay, something you believe about maybe risk management, okay, something you believe about maybe a lot of the times for many people it's yourself, okay. A lot of people will sabotage themselves and they can't see why. But if you really want to find out where that's coming from, listen to your self-talk. How hard are you on yourself? How mean are you to yourself? Okay, so I'm going to put self-talk there. Okay. So the belief is 90% of the thing that's going to stop you from moving forwards. Okay, and when you find the belief, you will see that it's easy, and you actually get in proper alignment with it. Then you're going to be able to break this one down and move forward. Where the discipline part comes in, where you may not be motivated, but the discipline part comes in, is finding where these are. So is it the fact that I believe the strategy should be right 90% of the time linearly, so across the board, okay, which that doesn't make sense, right? We understand in the unfair advantage that there's probabilities, and by probability it means every single trade has its own probability in itself by itself. and it's over a long period of time, you'll start to see the proper percentages come out. Okay. Do we believe that the market it's not manipulated, or do we think that it doesn't move in a certain pattern, or, do we think that maybe we should risk more than we actually know that we should be risking? Do we talk to ourselves? And back to I said, like, talk to ourselves. Do we actually love ourselves? Do we care for ourselves in a way that we want to nourish our own brain with the proper information? And do we look out for ourselves as if we're a loved one to ourselves in our own thoughts? And so these things are extremely, extremely important. And for you to be able to, again, I'm going to reiterate that, for you to be able to get to this, you've got to have self-discipline. So I'm going to read this here. I wrote this down for everybody today. Self-discipline is the ability to control your feelings and overcome your weaknesses, and the ability to pursue what you think is right despite the temptations that the temptations to abandon your original cause. Okay. So this is being in alignment with a long-term goal, not a short-term anything, like not short-term. So if you want to know how to properly be self-disciplined, be in alignment with a long-term goal. Okay. So you got to want to be a consistently profitable trader so bad that you're willing to go through the pain of facing being wrong. Okay. How many traders do you think this is it? Like, because they can't admit to being wrong, they'll never, ever grow. How many traders do you think that is?
%95.
You got it. You got it. It's actually 95%. 95% of you. So this is something that Sonny said that really stuck with me, okay? There's 3 ways we make decisions. What are the 3 ways?
Heart, head, ego.
Heart,
Right.
head, I'm going to put E, and then ego. Where
They both
are...
start with the E.
Huh?
They both start with the E.
Heart, head, ego. Okay? So where do you think 95% are working out of?
Ego.
You got it. So for you to be disciplined, for you to be not motivated, okay? I'm not talking about motivation. Motivation is there, it can come, it can go. For you to be disciplined, to make the choice, to go find out where you're wrong in your belief systems so that you can properly line up with the goal of being consistently profitable, that means that you have to go through the pain of being wrong in your ego. But what you do is then you move the decision making from your ego to your head. Okay? And this is where the 4% are. And then the 4%, when they are in such a good groove and routine and lifestyle, it starts to manifest from their heart. This is where the 1% is. And
I
so,
thought the 1% use both.
not in trading. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this and from my observation and through research. So when we listen to, or when you've listened to, I put it that way. When I listen to a disciplined trader and trading in the zone.
Yeah, I remember now.
Okay. He was talking about the difference about these two. Okay. And so this is where my mentor is at. My mentor trades from a philosophy. And guess what a philosophy is? A belief. A lot of the other traders are trading from a strategy. This is where strategies and rules are. Okay? When people trade from their beliefs, they almost have like a knowing of what's going to happen next. Even they're not predicting, it's just a knowing. And this is something that even Mark Douglas recognized. Okay? And so this is what it looks like. All right? This is what it looks like. So the people who want to be right, okay, who trade to be right, are operating out of their ego. The people who are trading out of their head are operating from rules and strategy. People who are operating from their heart operate it from a belief or a philosophy. Okay? And so it's okay to be in these two. This is good. We have to get past this one. Okay? We've got to get past this one. It's imperative for us to be able to admit that we're wrong and have the long-term goal in mind and be disciplined enough. Okay? Do you remember my definition of discipline? I kind of said that a little bit quickly, but discipline? Okay. Definition of discipline is to be able to do things even though you don't feel like doing them. Okay. Willpower is making the choice. Is making the choice to be disciplined. Okay, so here's the first thing that I'm telling you is that commit to your long-term goal. Okay, so some of us here, obviously we trade, but we're not full-time traders. I don't think anybody's at this point even a full-time trader. But we all trade, and we all love trading, and I don't think that's going away. So there's a long-term goal for every single one of us to be a consistently profitable trader and an even more consistently profitable trader than now, for those who are already consistent. Okay, so this is key number one, is to be aligned with your long-term goal. Okay. So be aligned with your long-term goal. And just so we understand what alignment means, it means it's when you think, say, and do all the same things in alignment concerning this goal.
And feel too, John.
Oh, right. Sorry, feel. I didn't have it written down in front of me. Think, say, feel, and do. Okay? For your long-term goal. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Okay. So, what do you think is the biggest obstacle to you having disciplined willpower, so that the thing that's not equal to having discipline and proper willpower, so that you can operate in finding where your belief system's wrong? You can operate in being able to move from ego to head to heart. What do you think is the number one thing that's stopping you today? Besides, obviously, wanting to be right, which I think a lot of us have gone past that already. Okay? It's instant gratification. Oh, look at that. It spells IG.
Whoa.
Hey, John, you want to have a competition?
That
Let's see who gets the most IG time this week.
the most?
Oh, well, the least.
Bro, trust me, I will win.
You will win.
100%.
We'll see about that.
Okay. So, my IG time is like, well, I literally spend like a half an hour to an hour a month, bro. So, my Instagram time's not very high. Things that get you hooked on instant gratification will always deteriorate willpower, which will stop you from being disciplined. That will eventually, every single time you come up to a challenge that you need to go find a belief that you may be wrong about, you will procrastinate or stall, which is also procrastination. You ever heard how you do one thing, you do all things?
I do now.
Okay. Do you see how it's all interconnected?
Yep.
Good. Because instant gratification, and I'm going to give you the definition here. Instant gratification, but it is, it's basically an experience to gratify the immediate pain with no delay. Okay. And the more that you spend time doing things that give you instant gratification, the more that you deteriorate your willpower.
Includes Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. What else?
Yeah. So let me
Snapchat.
let me explain. So social media, right? Essentially, looking for likes, looking for comments, looking for views. But you know what else also is an instant gratification? Fast food, smoking, drugs, alcohol. So you know when you go out with your friends and then it's like every week is like just deteriorates from what it used to be. It's because what you did is you indulged into, or I used to do that, and it's true, right? Like I was trying to move forward, and then I would indulge in something that's instant gratification, and then it would set me back. It feels like it set me back like a week. It's like, oh man, I don't ever want to do that again. And then I'd be like, you get the itch, and then your willpower isn't strong enough. You're not disciplined to gratify for your goal, and you go and you do it again. And, should I? Right? And the thing is, for some people, it's smoking, drugs, alcohol, Netflix, partying, gossip, essentially the sin industry. Hopefully, yeah, everybody gets that. Sin industry is essentially instant gratification. Okay, sugar, of course, social media. Think about it, social media, just for a second. When you get on there and you find out some information, either about somebody, or or you're going on there and you're scrolling through and you find something, right? And you're reading all this info that's coming to you. It's like a constant feed of info. It gives you something. And if you post something and somebody likes it and other people comment on it, it gives you a means of being social, but in such an addictive way that it's actually really bad for you. I was watching a video on it today on how bad it actually is for your brain. So who would like to know how to build an ironclad willpower? Ironclad willpower.
That sounds like a great idea.
Okay. I am learning most of this stuff, and I'm also implementing it. Okay. And so I'm always growing. Just want to let you know. But essentially, this is what we did at the beginning of our company, Ezekiel Management. What we did is we first recognized that we needed to resist impulses. Okay, so resist the urge to snack or to drink when it comes. So if you have a phone, which like I have a phone, right? Everybody's got a phone. Some of you are on it right now. Instead of listening. So if the phone controls you for you to, when you're going to check your messages, when you're going to check your emails, when you're going to, all those type of things that are on your phone. In fact, it's so automatic that you don't even realize you're looking at your phone until it's in your hand and you're looking at it. You've already unlocked it. Okay? That's instant gratification, and that deteriorates your willpower every single time you do it. So what do you think you got to do?
Put your phone away, pick up a book.
Right. Actually, when you're reading the book and you have the urge to pick up your phone, what do you got to do? How do you exercise your willpower?
Just remove the phone from your desk and in front of you.
Not even that. Not even that. Even if you did do that, it's good. You just resist the urge to pick it up. Totally resist it. Absolutely resist the urge to pick it up. Okay? So this is one of the things that I had to work on, and I have to work on, is I like to snack now. Okay? But I'm like, so when do I eat? When don't I eat? Because I could obviously justify it like, oh, I'm hungry right now and I'll just snack on something, right? Like you just justify it. Well, if you have a set routine for food, even, okay, you resist the urge to snack. Okay? So eating. Okay, so that's one large way and a huge way for you to be able to exercise willpower. So far, does this make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of information, but it's a lot of rehashed information and other parts of the unfair advantage, which you should already know of. That's going to help. So your trading should always be improving. Okay, so here's your goal. Okay, so can somebody give me a goal for trading? Somebody's trading goal. Anna, what's your trading goal?
Oh, my current trading goal, I'm still working to be positive 5%.
Positive 5% per what?
Oh, per week.
Per week. Okay. So not to put you on the spot, but we're going to use you as an example, okay? This is you. This is Anna. Okay? So Anna, what is the first thing that's coming to mind that's stopping you from being able to hit that 5% per week? And I don't know is actually a legit answer. Besides, like you should know it's a belief system.
Probably right now I would say just being afraid to lose. So I guess that's me wanting to be right, or well, also like not wanting to lose profit and have like a bigger way to make up.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you something about fairness, and this is where a belief system comes in, and this is the point. So, but before I get into that, because I'm going to help you try and fix that. But before I do, I want to ask you a question. So, why haven't you gone and tried to find a solution for the fear of loss?
I don't know.
Yeah, you see that? And see, this is the difference between exercising your willpower to a discipline and being motivated, right? So there's not really much of a motivation for you to be like, yeah, let's hit that goal. It's life or death, right? There's no motivation there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And so this is where discipline comes in. This is where, okay, I realize that I'm kind of spinning my wheels. I'm kind of going in a circle, and I want 5% per week, but I'm kind of breaking even, or actually not even, just maybe like losing a little bit over time, or what have you, whatever is going on. But the discipline factor has not come into play, where you're saying every single time I feel like I'm stagnant, I have to find out what's stopping me, and then I have to find the right belief. Okay, so that's the discipline factor. That's the discipline factor. Does this make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes
So-
sense.
And then having the will to actually do the work. Okay. Whether that means reaching out to somebody, finding another book, learning more about trading, whatever it may be. Okay. So we're going to take a look at fear of loss. All right. So what did I do to overcome the fear of loss? John, what did you do? I came to a logical conclusion. Logical conclusion. And this logical conclusion helped me. So where was I working from? Head, heart, or ego when I came to logical conclusion? Head. You got it. My logical conclusion was this. Okay. And I can define it better now because I filtered it through more, but beforehand I would have probably given you like a whole paragraph. I can define it now in 2 words. Win, win. What do I mean by this? So now I'll explain the paragraph. If you think this is how the world works, it's not. It never will ever work that way because God didn't create it that way. You can think, what about the people who enslaved other people? Isn't that a win-lose situation? Or you could think of many terrible situations. But let me explain to you something. Every single time somebody does something mean, horrid, or disgusting towards another person, it's a reflection of who they are. Okay? So this doesn't exist. This exists. This exists. But this doesn't.
Can you just cross out the win lose?
Sure. And I'm going to explain to you
Thank
how the fear of loss works. So what I mean by this is that, does the market take your profits from time to time?
Yeah.
Yes. What happens if the market doesn't take your profit from time to time? What will happen? It'll become
No more money.
nobody will have any more money. It won't be a market anymore, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. If one person in the whole entire world had all the money in the world, do you think he wins?
Nope.
No, because money would be worthless. Okay. So the market must take money from you. It must. And then, do you take money from the market?
Yep.
Perfect. So you give and take. There's a give and take. So there's a win for the market and there's a win for Anna in this scenario, is there not?
Yeah, there is.
Perfect. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have a what, so that we always come out positive. Starts with an E. We want to make sure that we have an edge. So if we are focusing on the long-term goal of our edge, we will never be afraid to lose. If you're short-sighted, in other words, you're looking at the one trade, you're essentially thinking like this. If you're looking at a long term and you know that your edge is, like, let's just say your strategy's got a 77% win rate ratio over a period of time, yes, you're going to lose, okay, because of probability. But you're going to win that 5% per week as a weekly goal. But as long as you keep looking at the one trade per time, you'll always be here. So in this information is the key. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's one thing, one specific thing that you got to focus on. But in this type of information I just told you is the key for you to be able to destroy this, to move to the next challenge, to making sure that you are consistently profitable at 5% per week. This is where the discipline comes in. You're going to have to be disciplined to be able to figure out what info here is the info that makes sure that you are profitable. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Awesome. I feel like we're uncovering some really good gold when it comes to the unfair advantage and putting things into place, and it's only getting better, which is really, really cool. So how many, does everybody go to the gym pretty much here? Almost everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You know when you feel that burn? Like your muscles.
Which burn?
Yeah, it's a cardio burn,
Sore?
not like
Oh, okay, never mind.
you know, like your cardio burning, or you're lifting something repetitively burn. And your body's just saying, yeah, you got to stop.
Plus ultra.
Yeah. So that's the exact same voice. That's your willpower. If you really want to test the willpower, go see how long you can run for on a treadmill, or how long you can stay on a bike for. Your body's going to try and tell you, or your mind will try and tell you, you're going to die. It gets really extreme sometimes. I don't know about yours, but mine does. And if you're not afraid of death, then it's okay. But you just keep going because you know you ought to. Well, that type of willpower is what you need to be able to continuously be disciplined in the harder times, when the times feel like they're going like this. So if you're feeling stagnant, if you're feeling like you're not moving anywhere, if you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, and it's just become this routine that, okay, well, I have to do it because I committed to it, then I'm going to tell you right now, what you need is you need discipline to get out of that hole. Okay? All right. Any questions? Any comments?
It's really interesting when you say the market, you have to lose and take, because there's usually that belief where in business where people say you got to give more than you take. It's very counterintuitive when it comes to trading. You gotta take more than you give.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of business principles that
they don't mesh well, right? But it's just something I just wanted to add, just so people are aware.
Definitely. Like, I mean, if we're talking about like business wise, like you can give tons of value, like give more value than you're worth, for example, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work in trading.
At all. Anybody else have anything wonderful to say? That was great. Thanks,
Something non-trading related. Did you sign up for Sunny's one-on-one yet?
No, I'll talk to him.
Huh?
I'll talk to him tomorrow. But he basically told me yesterday that it's like I got something else for you. That's what he said. I don't know what that means, so I'll let you know.
All right.
Anybody else? Okay, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop the recording here.